ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely prometida. And we are waiting for our K1 visa to get adjudicated at the Service Center in California. Our NOA1 date is April 18th, 2022. And, you know, things are moving pretty fast now for a lot of folks. A lot of March, April, February visas are getting approved. And with NOA2 letters, okay? And so I'm gonna make this video just the basic simplified, what do you do now that you have your NOA2 letter in your hand? What do you do now? Come on along, I'll explain to you. So you got a text or a letter, so you got in the mail, you got your NOA2 letter in the mail, okay? Indicating that your I-129F petition has been approved by the good people at immigration. And you know, this notification is known as NOA2 or Notice of Action, okay? Now, the next step in the K1 visa process is for the case to be sent to the National Visa Center in New Hampshire, which is otherwise known as the NVC, okay? And the good news about this is that your K1 visa will not sit for long at the NVC in New Hampshire, unlike a spousal visa or an IR1 visa. Once it gets to the NVC, you're at the mercy of the NVC. But with a K1 visa, it goes from USCIS to the NVC. Okay? Now this process can take up to 90 days, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The USCIS have up to like 90 days to mail your approved visa or to the NVC. So be patient once you get your NOA2 letter. Now to those folks who are impatient and cannot wait out this process without having to call somebody, you cannot call the NVC anymore to inquire about your case once you have your NOA2 letter in your hand. You cannot call the NVC, okay? You can do an online inquiry via an email, what's the status of my visa? But you can't call them, okay? So don't even try, which frees up their time. This was a great idea by the NVC to eliminate phone calls, because now they can get your visas processed without chatting on the phone, and they can get the visas sent off to the embassies around the world using the DHL courier. Okay, so don't be mad at me for saying that, but I want this process speeding up, not slowing down, and phone calls slow it down. Now what you're going to be wanting to look for is your case number, and the NVC will only issue you a case number once your visa package is in transit to the embassy in your beneficiary's country. Okay, so just wait for your case number, and you know, if your embassy is backlogged with cases, you could be waiting a little bit longer for your embassy to respond and give you a ready status where you can start the process of paying for your visa fee and scheduling your visa interview, okay? But once you have a case number, you can track the status of the case number right here. Go here to this website, and this is where you can track your case in the SEAC case tracker. Once you have the case number, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from the NVC, I recommend you start completing the State Department's online DS-160 form or the online immigrant visa application. You will need a DS-160 form for you, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, and or any of your children. If you have 2 children, that's going to be 2 DS-160s plus 1 for the beneficiary, which is 3. And then you can pay the online visa fee, okay? And you know, another thing I recommend that you do is, if you can't get to pay the visa fee yet because you're still waiting, you can fill out the DS-160 and save it. Fill it out and save it, and then go back to it before you submit it, because once you submit it, it's only good for 30 days. So fill it out, get it ready, make sure you haven't made any typos, spelling mistakes, make sure you filled out your beneficiary's passport number properly, her expiration date, his expiration date, except for Venezuela. If you are a Venezuelan citizen and you have an expired passport, the date you will put on your DS-160 is 5 years from the date of your passport expiration date, okay? That's the only exception. Okay, so for example, if your Venezuelan passport expired on January 1st, 2020, your expiration date will be January 1st, 2025. Now, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, you need to make a photocopy of your NOA2 letter scan it, upload it, and email it to your beneficiary in his or her home country, okay? Doesn't have to be the original. You have the original, okay? But make a copy and get it to your beneficiary. This is the confirmation page, basically, is what it is for the embassy folks to see also. It's very important. And like I said, start filling out your DS-160 and save it for later. You can save it online. Now, the MVC process kicks in now, okay? Boom. The MVC process consists of 3 steps, and I'll go over each step with you, and it's very simple. And please don't stress this process out. You can do this, and we're going to help you, pull you over the finish line, okay? When you Mr. Sponsor, get notified that the MVC, your K1 visa is at the MVC. It means that the MVC has your case and is processing it, okay? They're just going to process it, get you a case number. The instructions during this stage tell you exactly what you have to do from the MVC, okay? If you are processing an IR1 or CR1 visa, spousal visa, you got a whole bunch more stuff to do, but this video is about K1 visas, not spousal visas, okay? So you're going to get a letter, a welcome letter at MVC. Then the next thing you're going to be waiting for is in transit. Number 2, in transit, the case is now being forwarded to the U.S. Embassy in your beneficiary's country, okay? No actions required right now, okay? Just wait, kick back, and wait, okay? So as per the instructions that you got from the MVC, you're going to be looking for the ready status, which is number 3. When you get the ready status, this means that your case is listed as ready and you can schedule your visa interview online and start filling out the DS-160 and paying the visa fees, okay? And then wait for an interview date to get freed up from the embassy or consulate in your country. And this varies from embassy to embassy. It's going to be different. You know, in Bogota, Colombia, the wait time right now is about 2 months to get a visa appointment. And then also don't forget your medical exam too, okay? So the U.S. Embassy gets your package, and then they send you a welcome letter. Now, if you get an email or a status that says ready, okay, from the MVC through the SEAC, then what you need to do, what I would do, is I would send an email to the U.S. Embassy where your country, where your beneficiary lives, and say, hey, I got a ready status. What do I do now? And that will more than likely speed up the process a little bit, because then the embassy will respond to your email if they're not busy, okay? Now don't forget, your beneficiary is going to need a bunch of documents to bring to his or her visa interview, okay? You get the appointment letter from the interview appointment letter, the proof of payment that you paid the visa fee, the DS-160 confirmation page for you, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, and all your kids. 3 kids, 4 DS-160s, 3 for the children and 1 for the adult, okay? Make sure you bring the Declaration of Financial Support, I-134. The affidavit of support no longer exists. It's called the Declaration of Financial Support, and it's I-134, signed by your sponsor. If possible, the original form, the original signature, okay? Bring your passports, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, with at least 6 months still valid on the passport before expiration, 8 months for Brazil. If you're from Venezuela, an expired passport is no problem, okay? It's accepted. Now, don't forget to bring birth certificates, translated into English by a certified translator. The original birth certificates, Miss Beneficiary, original, okay? Divorce decrees or death certificates. If your sponsor has been divorced in the past, you need certified divorce decrees of final judgment, okay? And Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, if you lived in the United States for a year or in the past, you don't need to get a police clearance from the United States. FBI already did that. You don't need to do that. But you do need police clearance certificates from whatever foreign countries you lived in for 6 months or more or worked in. And there's some countries that it's difficult to get a police certificate, like Hong Kong and Japan. So those two, if you've lived in those countries, Miss Beneficiary, you need to start investigating right now how to get those police certificates, okay? And there's other countries too that it's a little difficult to get those certificates. When you come to your medical exam, make sure you have passport photos and a copy of the NOA2 letter, documentation that you have to show the medical doctor that you and the appointment letter from the embassy, whatever, you got to prove to the medical doctor that you have permission to get a visa medical exam done. And then you bring the medical exam results in sealed envelope to the visa interview, unless the doctor, the civil surgeon, has to mail it to the embassy, and in that case you won't. But more than likely you're going to have the sealed medical exam in your hand when you go to your visa interview. Okay? Bring with you 2 passport photos of each you and the beneficiaries on your children, called derivatives, evidence of your relationship. Bring photos of your relationship, and any police records that your sponsor may have had that needs to be backed up with evidence that everything was dismissed or whatever. Okay? And any documents in foreign languages, like I said, has to be translated into English by a certified translator. Okay? Don't forget to include your tax transcripts for the past 3 years, including the current year, so the current year and 2 years past, including W-2s, 1099s, 1040s, but primarily tax transcripts if you can get them. Right now, it is difficult to get a tax transcript if you filed your taxes in 2023, because it is May 2023, and tax transcripts will probably not be available till the first week of June of 2023. This applies to persons right now in May of 2023 trying to get a tax transcript. Don't have a heart attack if you can't get it, because the IRS is not issuing them right now. Bring in at least 8 pay stubs, your last page, 8 paychecks, your last 8 pay stubs. Mr. Sponsor, give them to your beneficiary, and 12 months worth of bank statements showing how much money you made in a year and what your current balance is. And if you have it, get a letter from your boss, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, on letterhead, stationery from the boss, saying the nature of your employment, the date you started, whether you were temporary, full-time, how much money you make a year, and etc. Okay? And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You got your NOA2. This is a video to break down the process for you for the next step. And it's easy if you maintain calm. Don't stress. Don't have a stress day if you can't schedule a visa appointment at the embassy because the embassy's busy. You will get a visa interview. Once you pay your visa fee, your NOA2 letter is automatically extended for a year, so you're not going to time out. And as long as if you email the embassy explaining to them you're waiting for a visa interview, your NOA2 letter will not time out. Okay, guys? Congratulations, by the way, on getting your NOA2 letter. I know it's been a long, stressful journey for you, waiting patiently for that day. But now you're at the end of the pipeline. You're getting closer and closer to getting this done. Don't forget, I do a live stream with Diego every Wednesday, Saturdays, and Sundays at 5 p.m. Central Time, U.S. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm a real estate agent, and now a YouTuber, apparently. And I've been through this process before in the past. I have a lot of experience, a lot of years of experience filling out, processing K1, IR1, CR1 visas. I know how it works. And thanks for watching. Hang in there, and soon you will be on an aeroplane, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, with a K1 or K2 visa in your passport. How exciting is that? It's fantastic. It's fantastic, and we're happy for you. Karina and I are happy for you that you made it this far. See you soon.
I'll be back.